So, this is my UFC 185 review between the matchup of Alistair Overeem going up against Roy Big Country Nelson, pretty much to see who's going to be top contender in the UFC heavyweight division and who's just going to be a fighter that's just going to be there, that's going to try to take out these new guys, up and coming guys. Pretty much, Alistair Overeem had probably one of his best performances in the UFC, other than him trying to run away from Big Country Nelson. In the first round, they pretty much was a feeler round. A lot of good shots by Alistair, a lot of good shots to the calf and body shots, leg kicks. And Nelson had a couple flurries, but couldn't do really much damage. And Alistair Overeem won that first round. Second round, pretty much Nelson did a little better. Try to land shots, try to land flurries, try to put Alistair Overeem up against the cage, trying to land that big knockout punch, but that wasn't the case. Every time Alistair Overeem would get hit, he would just brush it off, or it wouldn't be very effective. And Alistair Overeem continued with the leg kicks to the body, to the calf, to everything, to the head. Yeah, he landed a good couple combinations, and that was the second round. And many people thought that pretty much Roy Nelson was going to come in the third round and come swinging and try to get that knockout win, because he was pretty much down 2 rounds to nothing. Even though he landed a good couple combination, got Alistair Overeem in trouble, but didn't do enough effective damage throughout the entire round, which led to the final round, where third round, where Roy Nelson looked a little bit better in the round, but Alistair Overeem continued to land combination shots, break down Big Country, but Big Country landed a big punch. Staggered Overeem, but that wasn't the case. Overeem came back, fought it out, and then at the end of the round, landed a good right hand hook, left hand, faked the right, hit the left, knocked Overeem down. He had about 30 seconds left in the fight. Overeem jumped right back up, held Roy Nelson as Roy Nelson tried to stuff him against the cage and try to knock him out, but pretty much Overeem held him there, and that was the end of the fight. So Alistair Overeem wins by 3-round decision. And pretty much next, if Brock Lesnar comes back, Brock Lesnar has a ready opponent. Alistair Overeem versus Brock Lesnar, the rematch. And I guarantee that'll be a huge pay-per-view main event. Brock Lesnar and Alistair Overeem. Oh man, that'll be big if they get Brock Lesnar signed back. And hopefully Brock Lesnar could avenge his loss against Alistair Overeem. But there you have it. Alistair Overeem wins by 3 rounds decision. So, this is my UFC 185 review of the match between Johnny Hendricks going up against Matt Brown. Pretty much the winner of this fight would be the next contender to face either the winner of Rory McDonald going up against Robbie Lawler. Later in the year for the UFC Welterweight Championship, Johnny Hendricks losing his UFC Welterweight title late last year in December against Robbie Lawler in the rematch, and pretty much changed his whole diet. It got really shredded, gained some more muscle mass, and pretty much destroyed Matt Brown in 3 rounds. In the first round, he took Matt Brown down, I believe, 3 times. Pretty much a destruction of Matt Brown, trying to finish the fight, but wasn't able to do so. Second round, pretty much did the same thing. Another 2 more takedowns. Matt Brown landed a couple good shots, couple good punches. Got one shot under the eye of Johnny Hendricks and created a welt under his eye. Johnny Hendricks probably would have got more takedowns if Matt Brown didn't grab the cage in the first and second round, but he got warned not to do so, and he also grabbed the shorts too. In the third round, pretty much the same thing, wrestling match, kind of GSPing Matt Brown and Johnny Hendricks winning by a 3-round decision. So pretty much called out Robbie Lawler and Roy McDonald. He's saying that's his belt, that the winner of that fight he's facing next. It was a destruction. This is probably one of the best performances of Johnny Hendricks, even though he didn't win by a knockout. He did probably have one of his best 3-round fights in the UFC. A total destruction. He's very disappointed himself that he did not finish the fight, but he's facing the top dogs in the welterweight division, so you don't expect every fight to have a finish, and Matt Brown is also a tough opponent. But I do think that the interesting thing that I think Rory McDonald is going to beat Robbie Lawler, and we're going to see a Johnny Hendricks and Rory McDonald matchup down the line, and then maybe we could see a Robbie Lawler Hendricks for the 3rd time. But the new Johnny Hendricks, the clean eating shredded Johnny Hendricks, is here to stay, he says, and I think he's going to run through the welterweight division and take back what is his, the UFC Welterweight Championship. There you have it. Johnny Hendricks wins by 3-round decision. So, this is my UFC 185 review of the main event between Anthony Showtime Pettis going up against Rafael Dos Anjos for the UFC Lightweight Championship of the World. And the Showtime performance was not performed by Anthony Pettis, which I did declare that I said he would beat Rafael Dos Anjos in the first round. And the only excuse I said I could get out of this is I did say that if the only way Rafael Dos Anjos could win this fight if he beat Anthony Pettis in 5 rounds, and he destroyed Anthony Pettis in 5 rounds. He did not finish the fight, but he was damn well close a couple of times. The first round, Rafael Dos Anjos landed a huge shot to Anthony Pettis right in the eye. I believe his left eye. Later in the fight, we found out that Anthony Pettis could not see in this eye. Pretty much Anthony Pettis said once he landed that shot, he had no depth perception. He had no peripheral vision in that eye. He had nothing. He couldn't see out of that eye. And pretty much there was a whole destruction of the fight. That Rafael Dos Anjos took over this fight. Pretty much controlled the first, second, and third round, landing 8 takedowns in the entire fight. Pretty much up to a point where at the end of the fight, Anthony Pettis pretty much had to go for the kill, and wasn't able to do so. Rafael Dos Anjos pretty much destroyed Anthony Pettis, almost at submitting Anthony Pettis. Landed a lot of bombs, would have knocked out a lot of guys, but Anthony Pettis is such a tough opponent that he did not quit. He did not submit. At one point, in the last 15 seconds of the fight, Rafael Dos Anjos almost got a rear naked choke, and that wasn't the case. Anthony Pettis tried to get many submission attempts, but wasn't able to do so in the last round. And Rafael Dos Anjos is your new UFC lightweight champion. If anyone put money on this fight, you got 5 times your cash. Crazy turn of events. Like I said, a lot of people thought Anthony Pettis was one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, destroying many of his opponents, only losing 1 time in the octagon. This is his second ever loss in the octagon, losing his title. I'm going to blame CM Punk for being in his corner. He jinxed everything. The Pettis brothers lose tonight. Sergio Pettis losing by TKO. Anthony Pettis losing his title by 5-round unanimous decision. And Rafael Dos Anjos destroys Anthony Pettis. So where do we go from here? There's many combinations. Maybe Donald Cerrone comes and faces Rafael Dos Anjos. I know Khabib still has a title shot, but he's injured, so many things that happen. Benson Henderson versus Anthony Pettis for the 3rd time. Who knows what's going to happen? But there you have it. You have a new UFC lightweight champion in Rafael Dos Anjos.